Daily Devotionals with open hearts and open minds. First United Methodist Church in Pueblo, Colorado presents Hope and Coffee with Pastor Hugo Venegas.
Hi, welcome back to Hope and Coffee, and we're talking about Genesis chapter 6, and we reviewed yesterday that one of the reasons why Noah was commissioned to build the ark was because of the wickedness and the violence that had enveloped the whole culture back then. And today we see that our culture, our world is enveloped in violence, and that doesn't make us as sophisticated as we think, because we're primitively human and we have a tendency to go out and hurt each other and to hurt our fellow men and our fellow women. So we're reflecting on what is the face of hope in the context of all the violence that was happening. And I want to submit to you that another face of hope is the seeds of peace. And if you have your Bibles, I want you to turn to Noah chapter 7, verse 1. And it says here, "The Lord said to Noah, 'Go into the ark, you and your whole family, because I have found you righteous in this generation.'" Who got to go into the ark? It was Noah, his wife, his 3 boys, and their wives, 8 in all. So why were they in the ark? Because according to God's perspective, they were the seeds of peace. God wanted to do something that was the opposite of violence. And what is the opposite of violence? Peace-loving people, righteous people, people who live justly, people who live with mercy, people who live with kindness, people who are in love with God and in love with humanity. So that's why they were the only ones that got into the ark, because they were God's seed of peace for a new generation. They were the only ones who in the eyes of God, in the estimation of God, who qualified to bring peace. Last night, I had a call from Denver. A friend of mine called me up because plumes of smoke were going up. She was very concerned about the man who was killed by the police in Minneapolis. And she called me up for spiritual advice, and she said, "Hugo, I need your help. I am heartbroken over the way this man died. I am heartbroken over the violence that I see in our city and in our country. I am broken about the racism that we see. What do you suggest that I do?" And I said to her, "You know what? There's a boomerang principle, and it's a spiritual principle, and it's a principle in psychology, it's a principle in life, that whatever you give comes back to you." And you heard me talk about it. It's the boomerang principle to life. So if we fight violence with violence, violence begets violence. And I told her, you're not going to see me out on the streets protesting with violence. Number one, because I want to stay healthy and strong. And I'm not going to go out when we're in the middle of a pandemic to protest violence by being violent and then getting sick. I don't want to do that. And I said the other thing we have to realize is that when we are dealing with violence, Jesus taught us to bless those who persecute us. We saw in 1 Peter that Peter said, "Do good, suffer for doing good, not for doing evil." So there is a sense in which if we want to counteract violence, we need to be seeds of peace. We need to bring a new generation that values what God values. And I want you to know that we talked about violence, and I don't want you to get caught up. I don't want to get caught up. I did not want my friend to get caught up in creating more violence in the way that we fight violence. And I want you to know that violence is not black. And I want you to know that violence is not white. Violence is a human condition. It is a condition of the heart where we do not allow people to breathe God. We do not allow people to breathe their freedom and their religious liberties. When God created us, He breathed the Ruha. The breath of God was given to all of us, and all of us should have the freedom to breathe God, to breathe peace, to breathe love. And that's what God created us for. He wanted our lungs to be filled with love for each other, our lungs to be filled with God, our lungs to be filled with our love for our family, our lungs to be filled with the ability to create, with the ability to make a living, with the ability to enjoy the beach, with the ability to enjoy our backyards, with the ability to grill some steak and some chicken, have some tortillas and have them on our grill. We were created to that with that ability. So how do we go about counteracting violence? We need an ark. We need an ark. And God created an ark. And I want to talk to you tomorrow about the ingredients, the seeds of peace that need to go into the ark. So I want to call us, just as God called Noah, to create a new generation, a new world of godliness, of righteousness. I want to talk about the seeds of hope that can counteract the violence that we see in our culture. I hope that you can join me again tomorrow, and may you have a peace-loving day. And this is Hugo Venegas from Pueblo, Colorado. God bless you.
Thank you for joining us for our daily devotional, Hope and Coffee, with Pastor Hugo Venegas. If you enjoyed today's devotion, like or subscribe below. We also welcome you to join our family at First United Methodist Church in Pueblo, Colorado. You can visit our website at firstumcpueblo.org, and we hope you continue to have a blessed day. We'll see you tomorrow.